And the way I feel right now, I will never vote for a Democrat ever again in my life. Honestly, I stayed loyal to the Democrat Party way longer than I probably should have. I mean, I voted for Obama in 2012. I was a Bernie babe in 2016. In 2020, I voted independent because I was starting to get fed up with the Democrat Party. And during the 2024 election is when I really realized that a lot of the things that the Democrats were saying either didn't make any sense or were completely opposite of what we had been saying for the past 4 years. And I honestly just cannot see myself supporting a party that doesn't make any sense anymore. Like, for instance, we spent the last 4 years telling people that it was privileged to care about gas prices when people were dying overseas, that the president doesn't control the gas prices. And now you guys are saying the direct opposite of all of that. You guys are simultaneously making the argument that borders don't matter and that we should be ashamed because we stole the land from the Native Americans. If a mass migration of 25 million Americans into this country over the past 4 years is not a problem to you, then the fact that we migrated here all those years ago should also not be a problem. It's like, pick a side of the argument. You can't be on both sides. Is mass migration a good or a bad thing? And you say that voter ID laws are not necessary because it's already in the Constitution that you have to be a U.S. citizen to vote. But if that's the case, then why did we need DEI if we already had affirmative action? You say that no one should be able to tell you that you can't get steak and lobster and soft drinks and junk food on your EBT, but you're mad that the military is getting steak and lobster? And mind you, they were fed this steak and lobster before they went overseas to fight for the liberation of the oppressed peoples that you all claim to care about so much. Now, I'm not really like one way or the other on the whole pronoun thing. I don't really think it's that big of a deal to call trans people by the correct pronouns, but y'all can't keep saying that consent matters, and then when a grown man in a dress with zero evidence of actually being trans wants to be called she, her, and we say no, suddenly our consent doesn't matter. Because actual real trans people who suffer from gender dysphoria are being further ostracized from society because of the people that are taking advantage of their situation. And allowing people to cosplay as being trans because they want the validation that comes from being in a marginalized community is actually very harmful to the people who actually suffer with this. Or for instance, this is a good one. You guys will literally sit there and say that abortion is necessary in the case of a minor getting pregnant because they shouldn't have to have life-altering changes made to their body. And then you'll turn around and say that trans surgeries are necessary because they are able to make life-altering changes to their body. Whatever happened to the simple phrase, children can't consent, okay? It should apply across the board. And not only that, but when it comes to these transgender surgeries on minors, you guys are perfectly okay with the government overriding parental consent and then have the audacity to say that it's the Republicans that are the ones that are infringing on people's rights. You guys are actually, I guess, unknowingly running with a narrative that implies that the government knows better about your child than you do. You guys will constantly get on here and bitch about how the government is corrupt and can't be trusted, and then you'll turn around and try to convince us that the best scenario is for the government to take control over the things that we need in our life. Our government being in bed with big pharma, with big food, with big agriculture, with all of these corporations is the reason why we as citizens are being taken advantage of, and yet your idea is to give them even more control over our lives. I mean, I was all in on you guys, okay? I was buying all of the free Palestine stuff. I was buying the little bows that had the money going to the people in Gaza, okay? You had us buying this stuff not knowing that this was a symbol of oppression. You had us thinking that we were being tolerant. Yeah, this stuff wasn't tolerance, okay? It wasn't inclusion. It wasn't acceptance. It was literal funding of terrorism. And yep, you conned us into it, okay? I'll admit it. But you're not going to con me anymore, because now I know what it's like to have a president that actually stands on his word and does what he says he's going to do. I thought I had that with Obama. I was hoping to have it with Bernie. I definitely thought I had it with RFK Jr., so him partnering with Trump was probably the best case scenario for me. And the fact that Trump himself called RFK Jr. and asked him to partner with him the day after he was shot proved to me that this is a changed person. This is somebody who actually wants to leave a legacy, that actually wants to mean something when they leave the Oval Office. So yeah, while I may not be a full-on Republican or anything, I am no longer a Democrat, ever, okay? I'm definitely MAGA, I'm definitely Maha, but I am never, ever identifying as a Democrat ever again.
Wow. Hey, if the Democrat Party didn't have double standards, they wouldn't have standards. They will say, do, lie, cheat, steal for power. That's all that it's about. They are users, habitual users, and they'll use anybody and step on everyone in order to amass the type of power that they desire. That is the reality. The crazy thing is there's still a plethora of people that had not woken up yet to the realization or the reality that this young lady so eloquently laid out. Hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Let's keep going.
I really hate to break it to you, but if your party controls the news media, the entertainment industry, and education, you're not part of the resistance. And if the education that you received from this one party controlled education system forces you to rewrite history, ignore science, and divorce yourself from reality, I fear you didn't get an education at all, you got indoctrination. And if the information that you're receiving from your party is filled with so much violent rhetoric that people from your side are consistently trying to threaten and attempting to end the lives of people on the other side without any condemnation from the leaders of your side, you're on the wrong side of history.
Let's just fact check the claims that she made. It's that simple.
This young lady is absolutely right. I am so glad, that these young former liberal white women are starting to wake up. Hopefully this message will trickle over to the people that really need to see and hear this, because they've been duped, they've been hoodwinked, they've been bamboozled. And now they're starting to wake up to realize that, hey, the people that say that they are tolerant, they're not tolerant. The people that say that they're inclusive, they're the least inclusive. The people that say, hey, power for everybody are power hungry for all of the power, willing and to do whatever it takes to enslave the masses. Think about that. They say they want to do away with prisons. They want to do away with the police, but they don't want to do away with the military. They want to take your right to protect yourself, but they don't want to do away with the military. Now, they don't want to fund it the way but they want to be able to utilize it to enslave you. That's how this works, in all of these quote unquote socialist communist regimes. Once they get the power, they give the health care for everybody, which taxes everybody into oblivion. Then they take away the 2A right. And then from that point on, everybody is in complete subjugation because you can't defend yourself against the government, which becomes tyrannical. And everybody knows that absolute power corrupts. Absolutely. Everybody knows that.
Hey, let me tell you something. So when I used to work for the county in social services, I went in full Democrat, full liberal, and I came out Republican. Let's talk about it. I used to work in the social services department. So any public benefits, we're talking Medicaid, food stamps, cash aid, disability, unemployment, veteran service, housing. I did all the things, intake, applications, case maintenance, you name it. So when somebody who has a social security number like you and I apply for benefits through their social security numbers, I could tell, or any of the workers could tell using the social security number, whether somebody is working, whether somebody has money in their bank, whether they have property, cars, how much money they made that year through their taxes, whether they have additional income. However, here's the loophole. If somebody without a social security number, so somebody who's undocumented, applies for benefits, and they do qualify for benefits, by the way, they qualify for full Medicaid, housing, migrant head start, that's fully paid childcare. Not to mention that if these people have any kids that are U.S. citizens, meaning that they're born here, then they apply for benefits for their kids, and their kids being U.S. citizens qualify for all the benefits, all the services. So if you have an undocumented parent, meaning a parent that does not have a social security number, apply for benefits for their children, there's absolutely no way as a worker I could tell if they're making income, if they have any property, if they did taxes, how much money they made. There's just no way. We're talking $1,200 per kid plus $275 per person cash food stamps. That doesn't include housing, all the other benefits they get. And here in California, they don't even care. They don't even hide it. I used to have women and some men that would come in straight up with their nails did, their hair done, blonde, bleach blonde, Gucci bags, Gucci glasses, driving up on Escalades, chewing gum super loud, saying, "Where's my welfare check?" I used to live in a neighborhood where 70% of the people around me were undocumented, and man, did they live the life. New cars, parties every weekend. Oh yeah, and they also qualify for WIC, I forgot to say that. Meanwhile, us US citizens, we don't qualify for stickity shit. We don't qualify for nada, nothing. It was so common where the women or the moms in my community that were undocumented, they wouldn't work. They would have their own community of stay-at-home moms, while us US citizen moms would have to go out and work because we can't afford to live. And listen, I don't have anything against undocumented immigrants. Like, hey, we're all human beings. I think that if I was an undocumented immigrant, I'd probably take advantage of this loophole too. It's the government, especially the state of California, especially liberal states. It's the government that doesn't allow or put in regulations to limit this kind of fraud and waste. And we're all screwed. Not only us taxpayers who have to pay for this kind of waste and fraud, but when the federal government comes in to enforce immigration laws, people are upset. They're confused. You don't understand why is it that they're being deported. If they've been openly living and getting all these free benefits regardless of their immigration status. We need to do better. The state of California needs to do better. We all need to get on the same page here.
Yeah. This is sad, man, because you have citizens that could use the help that these illegal and undocumented folks have received. But what we have to understand is that the Democrats, they understand that, highly melanated people in this country are defecting from the Democrat Party. And they've brought their new voter block. And they also understand that when they put them in these quote unquote liberal strongholds, it helps to boost their numbers. So they receive additional seats in the House of Representatives, which they hope to give themselves more power, because if they can take the majority in the House, they can push the country in a direction that they actually want to push it in. They say if you want to, red pill, any of these individuals, just give them what they want, show them what they want. And once they see it, it's hard to unsee it. And then at that point, you're like, man, I can't continue to support these people. Again, the Democrat Party, they wouldn't have standards if it wasn't for double standards. And I think you all know this. Hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel. I want to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts on any of this? Support what we're doing over here. You can buy your brother a coffee. The Cash App works. Join the ARP family. Those links are in the description box below. I appreciate you guys supporting what we're doing over here. And as always, keep God first, stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you guys next time. Peace.
It is God who arms me with strength. Yeah, I'm battle ready. He trains my hands for battle. My heart stays steady. But thanks be to God, he gives us the victory. Through my Lord Jesus Christ, it can't live in me. I was down to the dirt, red clay on my shoes, old pain in my shirt, oh so bruised. Then the Lord hit my chest, kicked air from my breath, put power in my step.